Okay. Grand Rising Elizabeth. Today is February 22nd and 2024. Very powerful day numerically. So let's pick up the vibes. We need the card throwers and the bone throwers today. That's funny. Hello, my name is Reverend Omani Grace. I'm the facilitator for today. And we have been doing a series, I'm clear it's a 6-part series on self-love. Today is the last piece of that series. And we're going to do 3 little pieces that are left in that series. And then we're going to go back and do some review. And with actually looking at what are we taking away from these talks. What are we taking away that we could put in our pocket? I was sharing with the ladies earlier that I taught this class. I thought it was for others, but really it was for me. So thank you, ladies, for being an audience so I can get what I needed to continue the spiritual journey, but also to support others as they go through the spiritual journey. So I missed all this week. So what exciting happened this week while I was not here? I was here Monday. I wasn't here Tuesday and Wednesday. What exciting happened, y'all? What I miss?
Well, the card reading yesterday was interesting.
Okay.
2 cards. You can get them.
Okay, yes, I know some oracle involved today. That's right. Come on, Holy Spirit.
Yeah, and I sat them right back here on top. The first card that came out was Earth, and it was manipulation.
Yeah, that's what happened on the table. I got manipulated. I'm sorry. Right. I was right in rhythm. Okay.
Yeah, and the second card was fire. Illumination.
I'm sorry, say it again. Fire what?
Illumination.
Yes. Yes. Manipulation will bring illumination. Absolutely. That's very powerful. That's exactly what I got too. That's exactly what I got. Good morning, Lolly.
Hello,
Hey,
rising.
Grand Rising. You back from New York?
Yes.
Okay. I thought you might have still been chasing down what you call those? I forgot.
Castings and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm back now.
Okay, cool.
Friday. I don't think you were on Friday, Rev. Lottie gave her
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. She was going from here to here, and everybody said don't go here, and she went anyway. Is that the day?
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
And she went anyway and got in. Yeah, I was here for that. Yeah.
Yeah, good.
That's what I was asking her if she was back and she was still going to casting calls. Oh, okay. Let me buy my glasses. Ooh.
And Mama Evelyn, we are looking for, I do not know what happened with the Monday call.
Okay.
And Keisha, she records the Mondays.
Okay.
She doesn't know where it goes, which it either goes on your computer or it goes up into the clouds.
Okay.
So she's searching the clouds and then but I know because I know that she did because I remember hitting the button where it says that she would like to record. And any of you can record. Like if you're going to be, it's your show, you can record yourself.
Oh, really?
Yes. You just, let me know that way you have control over it or you have it or she puts it on her website.
Yeah.
Yep. And then you don't have to get it from me or
Yeah.
she's able to upload it.
Okay.
Because she has the code directly.
I'll have to go into my Zoom because I think I only used up just about all my space. So either you have to get some more space or delete some of the stuff on there.
But you're not recording, are you?
Not this class, but I record some of my other seminars.
Oh, okay, got it. Mhm.
Hey,
Grand
Maureen,
Rising.
hey, Maureen and Grand Rising, Maureen and Star, welcome. So I guess everybody's sort of like me today, they slow, right?
But we're here.
Yes, and welcome. Thank you for being here. All right, y'all. So what y'all want to do first? Y'all want to take the last three pieces to this 6-part seminar? I think this might be some of the stuff that we talk about, that I speak about at the conference. I was like, this was good stuff. I could use this at the conference because the conference is really short. I only got like an hour, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I could use some of this material and I won't have to be worried about, oh, what am I talking about? What am I talking about? I won't have to worry about I know, what am I talking about? All right, hey, great. Oh, she's not in yet. So today, y'all, this will be a good part where we're going to start. And then we'll put in this is the last three pieces. We're going to talk a little bit about the ego, how to hit the replay button, and then how to speak love. And then after that, we're going to go back and review some of the parts that we talked about that were really important and that we should keep inside of our kid for self-love. How many people actually got their what I want to call it? Got their self-love
altar.
The altar.
Anybody, you got yours? Okay. Okay. Did you finish yours, Evelyn?
No, it's not finished. It's coming together. I got a couple more pieces up there.
Okay, okay, good. Who else? Joy, you got yours? Is it complete, Joy?
I would say it's evolving.
Okay, all right, and good. Anybody else get their self-love altar?
No,
Started?
I know where it's at, and I've had to clean everything out, so it's in progress.
Okay, y'all, we gotta have ourselves, well, wait a minute. So my room got painted, so my room is dry now. Got the curtains up yesterday, so I've been taking this. I found they were doing some cleaning out, so I found a little thing to make my altar on. I think I might put it on this little table too. So everybody, make sure you do your self-love altar. I'm not gonna let that drop out. So just know in your background, Reverend Omani gonna be asking me about my self-love altar. Just letting y'all know right now.
Okay.
Right. So just know because I'm gonna keep asking. So I don't want to embarrass y'all. Okay. Okay. So we're gonna start off today with welcome, Danielle. We're gonna start off today talking about our earth experience. And inside of our earth experience, part of what we have to deal with in being on earth is our ego. Right. Does anybody know when the ego begins to be formed? When does our ego start? About what age?
I always thought we were born with it.
Okay. But when does it emerge?
Like three,
I'm gonna
four.
say around 2.
When they start going, mine,
Yeah, when I start them terrible 2s, that's what I'm
mine,
thinking.
snatching it from you, snatching it back from you.
Right,
Terrible
right.
2s, that's when it starts. So from 2 years old. And so some of us been dealing with our ego since 2 years old. Bad boy ain't never been put in check. Right? Right. So, and what the ego really does is take on our constraints, our constructs that we take on. They get stronger and bigger. What you not gonna do, who you not gonna be, and how does it show up? That's not how I am, and you don't know me. All those are the constructs of the ego. And as you grow, the ego grows, it becomes more stubborn. So if you don't really start to notice it, you become old and very stuck in your ways. You hear people say you're stuck in your ways. That's just the ego just refusing to grow.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And then some people try to kill off their ego. When you get spiritual and you don't think you need your ego, you try to kill off your ego, but you can't kill your ego off.
Mm-mm.
You actually need it, and it actually grows as you grow. As you grow spiritually, your ego grows with you, right? So we have to have an ego to live on the planet. You can't survive without your ego, because your ego is how you survive on the earth plane.
Yeah.
So is you can have your ego, just don't be your ego.
Mm-hmm.
And you see it's a difference,
Mm-hmm.
having the ego and being the ego, right? Um, it's part of our system. And it's how you distinguish the matrix, because the ego is inside of the matrix. What you're not gonna do, who you're not gonna be, your complainant, your limited view, keeping yourself small, unworthy, all those conversations are conversations of the ego, all your fears. And as you know, your fears come dressed up in other clothes.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the ways that fear shows up, dressed up in other clothes?
Oh, you said how does fear show up in other clothes?
Uh-huh. See, like most people just say fear, they think fear is just being scared, but fear shows up in other clothes, like
Meds.
Worry,
worry, that's fear.
Mm-hmm.
anxiety, doubt.
That's fear, that's fear. Anger, 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 anger.
Protection.
Oh, Maureen put down anger as soon as I said it. Our Maureen put down anger as soon as that's fear.
Protection.
Protection, defending yourself, that's
Mm-hmm.
fear.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Any other ways?
I
Huh?
can't. Inability to do something. I can't.
I can't. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's fear,
Mm-hmm.
right?
You can't, so we throw it off on other people too.
Yeah, projection.
Yeah.
What about being too prideful to do something? Would
That's
that be
fearful. That's
okay?
being fearful.
Mhm.
Not asking for help.
Not asking for help. That's pride,
Mhm,
fearful,
mhm, mhm.
right? Arrogance is
Yeah.
fear.
Unforgiveness.
Unforgiveness.
It's not, well,
I don't know so much. Unforgiveness got a house of its own.
What about procrastination?
Okay, so the third. So this is what I want to say about procrastination, and this is my definition of procrastination. Procrastination is just a big word for being stopped.
Not necessarily fearful. Okay.
Right. You just stopped. So, okay, so our ego creates this big old word called procrastination. And then we make ourselves bad and wrong for procrastinating.
Mhm.
And
How about guilt?
it's guilt, yes. Shame, blame, guilt, all three of those, shame, blame, guilt, right? So when you procrastinating, it's just being stopped. You just stop doing something, you procrastinate. So you say you're procrastinating, but you just stopped. I remember when I first really got that, I started playing the game with myself. Now I know I'm supposed to be cleaning up this living room. Oh shoot, I'm sitting on the couch. Well, I didn't get the chance to say I'm procrastinating. I just go, I'm stopped. Every time I noticed that I was stopped, I have to go. Oh, okay. Well, see you over here looking at all these papers. You know, you're supposed to be cleaning up these rooms. You stopped again. Okay, go. So every time I noticed that I was stopped, procrastinating, as I was calling it at the time, I would just get busy and start doing the thing that I said I was going to do. So procrastination is not a bad thing, because sometimes it's particularly as women, we need to stop. We
It's
be going,
about me.
yeah, we be going, and don't even know. So when it's a fancy word for you stop, but sometimes you need to stop and take a minute. But we make ourselves wrong. We can't even relax. We can't even relax,
Mhm.
right? So anybody else?
What about stagnation? Well, not procrastination, but just stagnation. You just don't want to move. You just unwilling to move forward.
That's just, I think that's more like an unwillingness to do something. Like if you're unwilling, See, that's another one that's got a house of its own. Being unwilling is another whole different kind of conversation than a fear. And how fear comes dressed up as other clothes, right? If you don't have an ego, there would be nothing to keep you here on the third dimensional planet, right?
Mm.
Right? But the thing that we have to keep remembering is that we are more powerful than our biological spacesuits that we're walking around in. We are not our body, we're spirit, right? And so you have to keep remembering that, because the ego thinks the ego lives in the body. The ego is about the body. God didn't make a body, God made a spirit. God made spirit, not a body, right?
Mhm.
So we created the ego as a means of how to operate in this reality that we created, this third dimensional reality that we created. We created an ego so that we learn how to operate within this third dimension reality. The ego gets a bad rap because some people's egos are based on the lower levels,
Yeah.
right? Right. So if it's based on the lower level, because um that's the negative part, right? From the solar plexus down, the solar plexus, the sacral chakra, and the root chakra. Those are the lower levels where the what do I want to say? The no joy, what it's like anger in Buddhism is hell, hunger, animality. Those are the lower realms, right? Lakeisha, you had a question?
Yeah, I do apologize, but I just can't get the concept. It's it just seems like God made spirit and body. Like how we can say that he just made spirit and did not make the body. Like
Okay, but
I
okay, let me
can't
ask you
grasp.
this. Okay,
Can
let
I
me
Come
can't
on
grasp.
camera, Lakeisha, please, if possible, please.
Okay.
let me ask you one thing, Lakeisha.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there is there a body in heaven?
No, it's not a body in heaven, but I thought God made all things and all things he made was good. And that was
Yeah,
including body.
no, God didn't make anything. God created.
Well, created
It's a diff
body.
it's the difference between create and make, right? I'm gonna tell you how come you know how you know the body is not of God. You know how you know the body is not of God? Because when you die, you leave it here. That's how you know.
Mm.
When you die, you leave your body. If it was of God, you would go with it. That's how you know. Anything that ain't of God, when you leave up out of here, it stays. Let's come all your material stuff. You can have all the material stuff you want to, but when you die, you leaving it all here.
You can't take it with you.
You can't
So
take it.
isn't the body and the ego different? Those are different things. The body is
No,
the
the body got made out of the ego,
Yeah.
right?
But
Okay, so you got to remember, God said, okay, don't go over here. Okay, let's look at it. God
Mhm.
said, don't go over here and eat off the tree of knowledge. Yeah, right. But because okay, like he was like they was naked. You just spirit. You just free. But when they went over there and ate off the tree, disobeyed God, which you can't do anyway, because that's part of the creation story that don't quite fit. Because you can't do nothing God don't want you to do, not for real. So if you can't, you working on the opposite side because that's what the ego did. The ego created something opposite of God. The ego created something that was opposite of God because there is no opposite of God. And that's where the illusion come in. Because we think that we could do something other than what God telling us to do. Impossible. And all of us out here trying to do something opposite than what God telling you to do. It's the fight is on. And everybody on here, some of them I know and some of them I don't. You know the fight is real.
Mhm.
when you try to do something opposite than what God told you to do. So that's how it all started, Lakeisha. So then when God came back and they hid from God because they know they had went against what God told them to do. They hid.
Mm.
Because
That's because they were listening to the
ego.
devil, right? Or the
The
ego.
ego. The ego is the devil,
Like,
boo. The ego is
yes,
the
it is.
devil.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
right.
And so while that's how it got started. The ego is the devil, boo. The ego is called ego, it's called identity, but it's all the devil. But if you really look at the devil, see, they got the thing twisted. That's how come they got people's thinking twisted. Devil, spell it backwards. What does it spell backwards?
Lived.
Live.
Spell backwards.
Live.
Okay,
Live.
so when people start talking about the devil, because everything is coming from our mind. And when people start talking about the devil, all they talking about is they living backwards. And that's why the devils show up, because they living backwards. Go ahead.
All right. So, I know sometimes I can be very analytical, but I'm just saying, if he's in the Bible, it talks about how God created Adam and Eve. Like, when He created them, it was in body form. So to say that God
Okay, but wait a minute.
didn't create
Who is
the
Adam and Eve
body,
though?
that's
Who is Adam and Eve? Okay. Oh, now you're gonna drive me crazy. You're gonna drive me crazy.
okay. I'm quiet.
No, you're about to drive me crazy.
I'm just saying
Listen,
though.
no. You're gonna take me here, but that's why we got to
I'm
talk. You're gonna take me
just
here.
trying to
Inside of the
understand.
creation story, what? Adam and Eve created every 6 billion people on the planet. 2 people created all them people that was in the Bible.
It's called multiplication.
Well, then
That's
you
right.
deal with
Somewhere.
then you have to deal with Lakeisha, the story, the thing that says that when there's at what Cain and Abel went out, there were other people. So where did those other people
Come from?
come from?
Okay.
Where did all
Now,
the tribes come from?
okay.
Okay, so that's where the self-analyzation of the Bible becomes really critical. The other piece to that is the other, as literally, that's the big picture. But then when you bring the picture down to a small picture, like put it under a microscope, what does Adam and Eve represent? Eve represents every woman. If you look up the word Eve, biblically, what it means, Eve means every woman. What does Adam represent? Adam represents humanity. They're not talking about the dang thing literally. They're talking about it metaphorically. And people take the thing literally. It's impossible. Okay, God got pissed off. Okay, he gonna take everything away. So then he gonna tell them Noah to go build the ark. Okay, so the tigers was on the boat for 40 days and he didn't eat up the other animals. What the hell we doing?
I mean, I just feel like through God, anything is possible.
But okay, so now let's know the law. God got the law, and the law is so as above, so as below. What does that mean? So as in your consciousness, so as on earth. Do you notice in the Bible, every time they went to a high place or every time they went to talk to God, where did they go? They went to the mountains, the higher consciousness. And when things was really, really bad, what did they say? They was in the valley. So you got to understand what these words mean. This thing ain't literal, and people try to teach it literal, but when you start to break it down and ask questions for yourself. So I appreciate you, Lakeisha, from asking the questions, because the person who asked the question is the most important person. Because how else you going to start to get some understanding of, well, wait a minute, and so for me in my journey, I'm a Buddhist, but Holy Spirit had me read the Bible. which I thought was the most intriguing thing I had ever read, because because I'm an avid reader. That's why God wanted me to read the Bible, because I could read the Bible and they be telling the story. The next thing you know, they done skip to something else. I'm like, well, what happened to the rest of this story? Because they done took the part out the Bible that they don't want you to know. Okay.
Yeah.
If you start
The
to really
apocryphal
examine,
Bibles.
they got
Mhm.
a crop of
Bibles. What they call
they
the
got
canon
the Lost
Bibles.
Scrolls. They got, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? And the council, the Council of Nicaea. Constantine went in there, and anything he didn't want in there, he took it out. Because the
Mhm.
Bible was just like every other story, it was told orally. Did nobody start writing the Bible down until like 1600? Do you know? Okay, what are we doing? So it's like, yeah, and the thing I found in reading the Bible is there's a lot of gems in there, but it's a lot of rocks in there too.
Mhm.
Mhm.
It's some rocks in there. You go, well, wait a minute, what's going on with this? A lot of stuff is in there in code. If you don't go and research it deeper, you will never really know what it means. But Adam and Eve, if you really look up the creation story and start to look at what people have said about it, because this is what you got to know. Every religion has a creation story. Everyone. That's how
Mhm.
come you know it's the truth. But this is the deep part about the
Mhm.
creation story. That is what every religion and philosophy has been out to solve. Where did we come from? And where do we go when we die? Nobody knows.
And doing my research, every Bible has errors in it. Like everyone has
Every,
errors.
but this is the part. Okay, this is the part that had bring it home to real for you, for me too. That's this. The major religions, they got one book. The Buddhism got the Lotus Sutra. Islam got the Quran. Uh, Krishna got the Bhagavad Gita. And Christianity has the Bible. But the Christianity got 51 translations. They the only, okay. Which one is the truth? If you
Mm.
got 51 translations, give me the one that's the truth. And then the one that we use the most is King James, and look him up. He was crazy and a pedophile. Really? So that's what we go learn from.
I mean, okay, you can't. All right, so now you're trying to open up a can of worms.
It is.
We'll talk.
Wait a minute,
You'll
hold on.
talk later.
Hey, Blue, it is a can of worms, and it needs to be opened up so people can really know what they're dealing with. That's what, look up King James, Google him.
I know, but a lot of times in the Bible, God uses those who most people look down on. You know what I'm saying? The people that yeah, that people look down on. He used the poor. He used people who you wouldn't think he would use.
Okay, yeah, but okay, now let's get it real. So, do you know they use the Bible to enslave Black people?
Yes.
Okay,
Not
come
just
on.
black people. I don't think it's just black people. Just
No, it's not. But they actually used it to enslave us.
mhm.
So it's like, okay, so what we doing? That's what come you got some people, Black people out there, they don't even want to care about the Bible because that ain't they truth, none whatsoever.
Mm.
Mm.
Right. And so you have to you have to take all that stuff into account when you start to look at the broad view of spirituality. God is not in a box. How can God possibly be in a box? He's so massive. So you got to be willing to stretch your consciousness as vast as just think about space, y'all, and how vast it is. That's God.
Mm.
That's God, that vast. And so
Mm.
sometimes we don't we want to put God in a little pee hole, and God that no, because if that's what you think God is, you missing it. Because that ain't God. You got to keep looking. That's what I've learned from my studies.
I
Right,
agree.
right. Because the thing that really got me going was I'm an interfaith minister, so we studied all the religions. So when we got to Judaism and they start saying that Jewish people don't believe in Jesus, I go, why they don't believe in Jesus? So I'm the person who asked the question, why don't they believe in Jesus? Right? They don't believe that Jesus is coming back. Well, now from the Course of Miracles, I know Jesus ain't coming back. Right? He not coming back. The Jewish people are like, Jesus is not coming back. That's
Yeah.
because they don't believe in Jesus.
Mhm.
So then you go, okay, so why they believe that? Because the bottom line is, okay, this the other can of worms. Other can of worms. The bottom
All the
line.
cans right here.
Okay, I don't know. The keys to open up the can of worms because it actually go rearrange your thinking. That's what it's about, and that's what she's really seeking. Lakeisha is really seeking the truth. And the thing about the can of worms is, you know how in the Bible they could follow the bloodline, so and so begot so and so begot so and so begot. It was important. It's important in the Jewish religion that you can follow up your bloodline, right? Jesus didn't have one. Say Jesus come from a virgin. They're like, huh? That's who Jewish people are. He came from a virgin, huh? Right? And so
Star got her hand up.
Lakeisha like, Hello, Lakeisha.
Her hand been up for a long time. She's just so patient.
Yeah, but that's the part. Go ahead, Star. Go ahead, Star.
Lakeisha said, "Get off me." No, okay.
No, but
Focus.
this not Lakeisha. I really want you to know you're not the only one. Other people got these questions too. They just don't ask.
Mhm,
Yeah.
So
mhm.
when you ask, it's not just for you. It's not me pointing you out. You're pointing out. You're bringing out something that everybody has a question about, but they're just not willing to put themselves in the fire
Mhm.
to get the answer. So go ahead, Star.
Okay, I don't have a question. I just want to share something, a couple things that God showed me.
Okay.
He showed me when he created us.
Mm-hmm.
All I saw was spirit,
Mm-hmm.
little lights coming out of God.
Mm-hmm.
Little lights, not bodies,
Mm-hmm.
just spirit,
Mm-hmm.
lights. And then I saw him direct them in different directions, just spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked him, I said, I wanted to know, because, in the Christian religion, they say, between the crucifixion and the resurrection, Jesus went down there to whoop the devil's ass.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to know, what does that look like? But that's not what he showed me.
Mm-hmm.
What he showed me was that Jesus was walking, and his humanity, his body, started from the top of his head and started to come down. And then when his humanity got down to his feet, he stepped out of it.
Yeah.
That's what he showed me. He went back to spirit.
Yeah.
He left his body.
Yes.
And God does not create anything that can be destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
When we say that God is omnipotent, omnipresent, that God is everything. So it is not possible for God to create anything that can be destroyed. It's not possible.
Right. That's gonna
Okay.
spirit. That's why the spirit go on and the body left here. Right? It's like it's not part of what he created. So it's just sort of I can really see what Star saying, because once you leave God and start to head toward Earth, you start getting your Earth suit because you need the Earth suit to be down here.
Yeah, to be grounded.
You got girl, yeah. But everybody got their own idea of how we got created, how it all got started. So you take the one that's works for you.
Works for you until it don't, and then you change
You'll
and
evolve. You'll evolve. Because if you really think about who you are, some of us on here, we got some age. Well, who we thought God was is at 5 years old, ain't who we thought God was at 15. When we got 20, it turned again. And as you continue to grow, who God is for you grows too.
Mhm.
It's not the same. It's not stagnant.
Mhm.
And if it is stagnant, then you're not really growing. Because it's just like anything that's alive. We're green, and then we start like a banana. It's green, then it gets really ripe, and then if you don't eat it, it'll decay on you. So That's the sequence of living. The sequence of living.
Mhm.
And everybody is going through that cycle. Everybody gonna go through that cycle. It's like I said, we like gladiators. Ain't nobody getting out of here alive. Ain't nobody getting
So
alive.
Rev, so okay, come back. So our spirit, yeah, okay, so the ego can affect our body and tell our body to do, you know, all kind of things, but it cannot tell the spirit, our spirit, it can't affect that, our
Okay, so
spirit, because that we're one with God.
yes, and
And
that's
so,
where the illusion comes in. If you when you that is my book, I got to start writing it because you got to know how to navigate through this thing. Listen, spirit don't know nothing about the ego,
mhm,
and
Mhm.
ego don't know nothing about spirit.
Right.
All the ego know is when you stop listening to it. Because right now your ego can tell you to do something, to go get something, and you'll go do that.
mhm,
Right? But when you start to get command over your ego, when you start to become the captain of the ship and the master of your soul, you tell your ego what to do, and then it'll do your bidding. But right now, the ego, you can get you to do, okay, everybody on here know it. Like for me, give me a bag of Lay's potato chips and some hot sauce. I tear it up, man. I don't
I was
care.
just thinking about that Haagen-Dazs ice cream
You
that,
see what I'm saying? That Haagen-Dazs, you know what I mean? Don't give me no Breyers and the Werners, please. I mean, I killed it. So you can't stop yourself. You know, you have to have, get yourself together when there's certain
yeah.
things. And you know what the fight it is when you start to tell yourself you're not gonna do that no more.
Mhm,
The fight is on.
mhm.
Because your
It's not like that's a sin that I hurt somebody, but I impose on my body that will
yes,
show up,
yes. Well,
and that body, yeah.
but sin is one of those fears.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of those fears they put on us as human beings, particularly from the Bible, that you're a hopeless sinner. I mean, okay, when you're born into sin? Really? Okay, for real, y'all, that's what we doing. I ain't never seen nobody get a brand new baby and talking about, look at that hopeless sinner. Who does that? You get a new baby, oh, they're such a blessing for the whole family. We are a blessing. But what do we speak? And this is what part of what this has been about, this self-love thing. It's like, what are you speaking over your life? What are you speaking over your life? Are you speaking goodness and love, peace and prosperity? It was one part in here that I really said, it said, you got yourself, this self, and then you have your higher self that's guiding the way. But if you really got everything that you're saying about yourself, you're saying about God, well, wait now,
Mm-hmm.
right? When you start saying you don't think you good enough, that's what you're saying about God. You don't think God good enough. I want you to know, just getting that little bit of information has shifted a whole lot of my thinking,
Mhm.
like, like, like that. Because we keep wondering how come we're not prospering and creating and causing and being as abundant as we know we are. Everybody on here know they powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody on here know they're extraordinary. Everybody on here know they got a lot to offer. Okay, well, then if we really look at where we are from where we want to be, we're missing the mark a little bit. And so who I am is I'm interested in finding out what that is so we can get it out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
we
not be stuck on what we've learned, not be stuck there, but open to revelations and the truth
well,
that we have, some truth we've not been exposed to.
Queen, that's so true. Okay, so in my studies, right,
Mm-hmm.
one of the things I wanted to know was what was going on in Jesus' time when Jesus was alive. What was happening at that time? And I wanted to know who were the teachers
Mm-hmm.
at that time. Where did he learn from? He just didn't show up in the vacuum and, he had to learn from somebody too,
Mm-hmm.
right?
True that. True that.
Joy has her
Right.
hand up.
I wanted to say, Rev, you said it take, what's stopping us. I think what stops us is because we have to unlearn all this BS that we've learned for so long.
Yes,
And that slows us down, We're
yes,
trying to, just like you telling us different thoughts about the Bible. So it's unlearning this stuff that we've been taught for years
Right.
and
right.
have to surrender to truth.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. But if you, so
Well,
my thing is I love words. Okay, Brenda, I'll be right there. I love words. And right now, most of us, if you say surrender, we cringe. We're not trying to surrender nothing,
Mm.
right? I ain't trying to surrender. Fight at all costs. Right? But if you really look up the word surrender, it actually means to melt into your higher self.
Mm.
So if you really knew that,
wow.
we'd be looking at how much we could surrender. If I know that to surrender is to melt into my higher self.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that I'm really noticing, you guys, more than anything, out of the work that I've done, is that we do not know the anatomy of spirit. We don't know how to navigate spirit.
Right.
And that's more of the problem. It's like the undoing and correcting is important, but it's also how to navigate through. Because a lot of times you know how they always have the words mind, body, and spirit together? Because it is a
Mhm.
system, right? You can't have one part of the system without the other part of the system, right? So it's just like any any okay, like a computer is a system. Your refrigerator has a system. Your stove has a system,
Mhm.
right? And so if the oven ain't working and you're trying to fix the pilot light, you ain't gonna get nowhere, right? And it's the same way with our system. If the body is off, right, and you keep trying to go to the spirit, well, you could, okay, so this is the part when the body is off, we go to fix the body, and the body ain't the problem.
Right.
It's the thinking that's the problem. So you got to go in and do some correcting in the thinking. Like one of my clients called me up, the former client called me up, and she wanted some healing advice for her friend. And she was like, how her friend has had cancer, like in different parts of her body. And now because the cancer moves, it'll come in this part of the body, she'll do the work, it'll get better, but it'll move. And then she'll go to that part of the body, get that part of the body, it'll move. But she hasn't shifted her thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Guess where the cancer is now? In the brain.
Mm.
It's like it's in the thinking.
Mm-hmm.
She done tried to go so the body, how physical illness works, it'll keep going until you get where the source of it is.
Yeah, Reb, the other day we played about sleeping on your left side in the
Mhm.
monks, and that was really revealing. It didn't understand how sleeping on your left side, how it really affected the body and what was happening in your organs.
Mhm.
And how that even lines up with your spirit and stuff, where we just go to sleep. We didn't know that all of that, like you said, body, soul, and spirit, they're all connected.
Connected.
I think Brenda had something she wanted to share.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead, Brenda.
Well, no, what I was just going to ask is because I'm hearing, I don't know whether I missed this or not, but what I was hearing when I was coming up so much that God did not create us human beings. He made us. He created the world, but he made us.
Hmm. Hmm.
Does that
Well,
go with anything?
is that what I was saying? No, God don't make, God create.
No. He created in the Bible. I'm tell you what I learned in the
Okay.
Bible.
All right.
But and I said that was terrible how I said that. It was like I'm gonna go to Bible way, but I'm trying to get. I hear you saying that people trying to get the truth. I'm trying to get the truth, but
Yeah.
it says that the world and everything in the world was created, and then God made man. He
Okay.
made man in His image.
Okay.
And I often say in prayer, I
Okay,
don't
but
know
wait,
how God
stop,
looked, but
stop right there. Made, see, that's where they messed you up. God ain't no white
they.
man. Now, how they started us off in this conversation was, if God made us in His image, He was a white man
Who
on the
said it? I didn't
throne.
say that. I don't believe that.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. That's what they gave us in the very beginning.
Mhm.
When I
Mm.
was growing up, okay, wait a minute now, y'all, come on, let's keep it real. They just took white Jesus off the cross here recently. Is every church, everybody had a white Jesus.
Yeah, right. Everybody went with what was the artist's name? Da Vinci or whoever that
Yeah,
was
Da
that made
Vinci. Yeah, it's like, come on now, y'all.
yeah.
Michelangelo.
Right, and there's how Jesus gonna be white? Even in the Bible, it don't say he white. He had bronze skin of bronze, broad nose, nappy
Happy
hair,
hair.
woolly hair.
Right.
So how that
Right.
ain't nothing
Right.
about that. Ain't nothing about that white. But they had switched
Right.
the conversation around.
Mm-hmm.
They switched that conversation around. So, we got to be really clear about what's going on. But I'm going to tell y'all something. When I went to Egypt, it's written on the walls. The book is in stone on the walls of Egypt. What happened is on the walls in stone. The book of Egypt and the book of creation is written on the walls.
Wow.
And when you go see it, you go, oh my God, here's the truth right here. 4,000 years ago, still written on the walls. They still ain't figured out how they made the pyramids.
Yeah.
If
That's
if
true.
you go see the pyramids and how massive it is, you go, so man made that? Something gets in the question real, and don't go inside. I'm not lying to you. Not, I went inside of the pyramid, and I know I walked a half a mile up. But when I got inside of the pyramid and went all the way up, this one was when I went down. When I went down in the pyramid, when I got down there, where was I? I was up because I could look up and see the seal and see the sun coming through the thing. So how did I go down
Wow.
but ended up up? But okay, what happened? And you should have saw me when I was coming up out of there because I know I had just been in the room that was up, and then crawling out. I was crawling up because you got to crawl. You can't stand it.
Wow.
You froze up, Rev.
Crawling up the ladder. But I had went down. But when I got down, I was looking up. Huh? So it's like that. Like, well, how is it made? That part is very important.
So
So
you're saying that by God being spirit, He could not have created us in His image because He's spirit? Am I
no,
hearing this
no,
right?
no.
No.
Okay, so this is the part we got to
Okay.
get. We are humans. We are human. We are spiritual people having a human experience. We are
Because of
spiritual
this
having a
flesh.
human experience. You can go, there's other dimensions, there's other parallel worlds, right? This is not
Mm-hmm.
the only world. So we are spiritual
Mm-hmm.
beings having a human experience.
Mm-hmm.
Because in some parallel worlds, it's all spirit. There ain't no
Mm-hmm.
human bodies.
Mm-hmm. I believe that.
Right. So it's like, yeah, so that part. And then you know what, you guys, like everybody, find what works for you and that gives you power and empowers you and go for it. And who I am is I need to keep it simple. Like I've been a Buddhist since I was 19, but what I got to tell you, Buddhism is a high level of teaching The consciousness is way out there. And it wasn't until I got further down the line and studied other things that I really got that Buddhism was how powerful it was, and I had no idea. The reason I remained a Buddhist after studying all the main religions, the reason I remained a Buddhist is because they were the only religion that was doing what it said it was going to do. You ain't never heard of no Buddhist start no wars? You ain't never heard them in conflict? Buddhism is about peace on earth. And so I remained a Buddhist because everybody else fighting. The Christians and the Muslims been fighting ever since Muhammad came on the planet. And if you really study their religion, it's really funny. The Christians and the Muslims been fighting since Muhammad came on the planet. Muhammad was the last one to really come on the planet as a major religion. The Christians was mad. And so they go fight the Muslims, and the Muslims kick their butt, kill 700 of them and put their heads on a stake. And the Christians been mad at them ever since. Read your history. That's why the Muslims and Christians still fighting.
It wasn't about the bloodline, huh?
No. No, because they tried the Muslims kicked their butt. And they've been mad ever since.
Evelyn has her hand up.
Hey, Evelyn.
I have a question.
So much for class today. I guess I wasn't teaching this. Okay, but go
Always
ahead.
next week.
Jesus. Go ahead, Evelyn.
How do you get into studying Buddhism? I mean, being a Buddhist, what does that look like?
I don't know how it looked like for me when somebody came up. I was going with a guy, and he was an artist. He went down to the festival. He did portraits. He came home and said, I met a Buddhist today. I was like, what? I thought they was in the monastery in the mountains. He was like, no, she was walking around. I was like, The next day I go with him, and she's there, and she started talking to me about it. But at that time, the Hare Krishnas was around.
Yeah.
Right.
And they was trying
know
to get
where
people,
a lot of them are.
people, they was trying to get people, it was more like cults showing up. So I'm like, oh, this is a cult. I thought it was a cult. But she was talking to me about it. But I have this thing when somebody is really telling me the truth and my spirit wants me to pay attention, the hairs on the back of my neck rose up and on my arm. And it was like, oh, shoot, pay attention. And so I started just really listening to her more open. And then that's how I found out. And then that night we went home, we was hanging out. She was like, oh, I need to say my prayers. You guys mind if I say my prayers? We was like, sure. She went in the other room, but the way it sounded, I was like, oh, that
Did it
is.
sound like that one with what's that singer who went
Tina
into
Turner.
that? Yeah, did it sound like Tina Turner's prayer?
That's the one. That's the one I chant. Lolly does too. Lolly chants the same thing too. So yeah, it was that. And so, and I'm gonna tell you guys something. When I became a Buddhist back in 1973, 74, we started talking about we were Buddhists, and the Buddha was within. My family started saying, and y'all going to hell because God is up here and the devil is down there.
Wow.
Right? And we're like, what?
Well, that's what they believe.
As Eastern religions began to make its way into the United States, Christianity had to check up because because the real deal is spirit is within. And that's not what Christianity was teaching in the United States.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
And that didn't happen until like the 70s because we was going to hell for being Buddhist, talking about the Buddha is within, enlightenment comes from within you. That was not what was being taught. Not at all, period. And if you thought like that, you was the freak. But we love
Jesus
being
ain't
free.
coming back.
Yeah, we love being free.
And Jesus,
No.
Jesus ain't
Okay,
coming
so
back,
this is
right?
no. I'm just gonna say this and then we can call it complete. Okay, what got me really, really interested in spirituality on a much, much deeper level is I read in 3 different books that the Bible was a psychological drama being played out in the mind. It's coming from our thinking. Everything is coming, and that's what when we did the thing on self-love, it talked about it. Everything is coming from our thinking. So the second coming is when we are done with all that negative stuff we was talking about, that how the ego running our life with fear, when we're no longer thinking that way and we're all thinking that we are one. Even though there's 10 of us on this call, there's only one mind. It's 10 bodies, but it's one mind.
One
But
accord, one accord.
yes, and so what 10 bodies, one mind, and so what the body was made made for was for us to think that we're separate from each other. And it takes something for us to not think we're separate from each other, different from each other. I'm not like you. I'm like this, you're like that. When really the deal is we're one. That's the deal. And it takes something because our judgments and assessments of each other keep us from being one. You know, because I know one thing I know every day is a daily battle for me not to judge and assess you, because I'm really good at it. I don't know about y'all. Y'all may be angels, but I'm really good at it, right? And I have to I really have to keep I call my ego, I put my ego on a choke chain. I have to keep it on a choke chain. So, you know, I don't believe that my judgments and assessments about people are real, because they're not. They're just my judgments and assessments. So, hey y'all, 10:02 is class. It's over. Thank you for coming. I hope y'all got something out of it today.
Good class. Good class.
We went out thanks to Lakeisha. Class was over before it began.
Yes, really good class.
Reverend Omani, I gotta call you later.
You can call me later. Who said that?
Okay. Lolly.
Oh yeah, baby, call me for sure. All right, Queen Aduni.
All right. So tomorrow, Friday, we got a lot of stuff accomplished for the conference. So from 8 to 9, we will be talking about that. And basically that. And then of course from 9 to 10, we have the wonderful Claudette Faison is going to be with us tomorrow, and we're going to talk. And she's a friend of Reverend Omani's, and she's in the teaching with Isis, and she got some stuff to share with us. So we'll see you in the AM. And we're really excited about the conference, and people are joining, and so come on, you know, get your butts up, come on in, and come in ready to be on screen if at all possible. Because that's just the way it is. Brenda, I don't know what we're going to do about you. I get to send a master technician. All right, give yourself a big old hug because it's so wonderful loving yourself. Give the world a big hug because they need that good old love so that everybody feel love when they approach you today out in the streets. And then sprinkle all the goodness and love and all that good stuff. I will see you when I see you. Peace.
All right, you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Love you guys.
Goodbye.
Love you.